con motivo del lanzamiento del nuevo disco de los suecos C.O.M.A, llamado Royal Destroyer, conversamos con Marko Tervonen, su guitarrista y uno de los fundadores de la banda, sobre este nuevo trabajo del sucesor del gran Cobra Speed Venom del año 2018. Esta es la entrevista para el Lado Oscuro. Okay, so just for you to let you know, this interview is for Uruguay.
My first time ever.
First time in Uruguay?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. The Crown has a new album out in March with the same lineup, same record label, same producer, Fredrik Nordström. Seems like to be back to the old days when you were releasing your first albums with Metal Blade and working with Fredman Studios again. Seems like the house is in order and healthy again.
Exactly. That's why we sort of continued with what we learned with, once again, with Cobra Speed Venom. You know, it just worked so fucking great, and we had a good plan how to sort of create an album, because that's the cool with Fredrik, that he doesn't have a fixed way how he likes the albums to be, you know. Yeah, it needs to be in a certain way. It's like we had a plan that worked with Cobra. That was much about us going in, we play the song once or twice and then move on to next one. So it's a very sort of spontaneous, raw, rough approach to it, and we noticed it worked so great on the Cobra, working like that with this lineup. So that's what we continue on Royal Destroyer. That let's go in, just hammer the songs, and we actually recorded everything in like 6 or 7 days, including vocals and solos and everything. So it's very fast done, but I think it's pretty cool, because that's also the way you can actually capture some sort of energy and feel to it, because it's the other spectrum of that would be to, like, you record, you solo listen to everything, is everything perfect, you know, you spend a lot of times to repair and edit, but no, we just went in, recorded a song. Is it good? Does it feel good? Okay, next one. So it's a lot of raw energy in there, and I think it suits us. It also shows that Cobra Speed Venom wasn't only good luck. It was a good plan that we could continue with. So it's great.
You say that the album sounds so raw and in that sense, and well, the beginning is really good, showing this raging and killer, like baptized in violence, and after that let the hammering begin. So was it on purpose to start with this heavy punch?
Yeah, it wasn't obvious actually, because we actually struggled a bit what we should do with Baptized in Violence, because now it makes sense to open with it, because that's the only probably place you can have a song like that. But we actually even did a sort of mastering version where Baptized in Violence was in the middle, and we opened the album with Let the Hammering Begin. But I know Fredrik was one of those. He was like, you need to open with Baptized. It's a fucking 1 minute, you know. And we were like, we don't know. But in the last minute, I just text the guys and like, we need to do it. We need to open with it. So we changed the mastering again, and it's great because it's such a short, aggressive song that it almost suits like an intro, because it's such a short song. So I think it's also a bit of it becomes almost a bit of a statement, you know, to open with a fucking badass song like that. So it's cool. Let's see if we can open live shows with it or close live shows with it. Something, but it's gonna be aggressive.
Yeah, indeed it is. And it seems that the whole album has different aspects from the Crown, like this 1 minute furious song, but also other moments. Now I remember that, for example, We Drift On is really, really different from what you do. So that's what also came into your mind when we were writing, because you said it was very fast, the process.
Yeah.
But
yeah, actually, first of all, we were scheduled to record in May, but we had to postpone everything till September due to the COVID stuff. And during those months when we couldn't even rehearse anything, you sort of start to think a lot about the album and ask yourself, is it good enough, or does it have all the elements that you want to have in a Crown album? So actually that We Drift On song we decided very, very late on to add to the album. So when we came back to rehearsing, we removed 2 songs and added We Drift On and the last track, Beyond the Frame. So a bit thanks to COVID, the album became more varied and better, actually. So I like the fact that obviously we're like a death metal band, but we can be a bit all over the place. And a song like We Drift On, it is different, but I think that after you sort of hear the whole album's context, it suits there. It just adds variation or variety to it, and it's really cool. And actually, we're gonna shock some people here now in February. We're gonna release that as the next single. So let's see. What
exciting moment to see the reactions.
Yeah, let's see what the death metal police says. So it's gonna be cool. But it is great because I think that our best albums are the albums that has the variation in it. So I'm really happy actually that we could create a varied album. It's more exciting for both the listener and for us as well to play and create. So.
But also the old school death metal fans will also be pleased with songs like Devoid of Light. That has a morbid angel feeling.
Oh yeah, it's a morbid angel jerk off song. It's definitely usually what happens when we are of course influenced and inspired by so many stuff, and sometimes when we come up with something that is very, very obvious, it's almost like we try to push for it even more to be, it's like on Possessed 13 there was this song that sounded so much like old Metallica, so we even named it Kill 'Em All because it became so obvious, so there's no reason to hide it. And sometimes if we can come up with like a riff and someone is like, oh, it sounds like Motorhead, but how can we do it more Motorhead? You might as well go over the top, because sometimes you have those riffs or parts that really shows your inspiration, so why not go all the way? But yeah, there's some definitely more range of stuff happening there in the beginning there.
Mm-hmm. I read that Let the Hammering Begin is also like a tribute to Hanneman.
Yeah, that was Magnus' song, and I know when he told me that it was sort of a tribute to Hanneman, I was expecting more Hanneman-style riffs. Mm-hmm. But when we started to play it, I was like, oh, okay, the mid part has that Slayer feel to it, Yeah. So I think it became more of a tribute to Hanneman in the more sort of in the thought, as having a tribute to this great man that passed away, But it's not like a collection of Hanneman rip-off riffs, There's, I think it's more of just a tribute to the late great man.
Cobra Speed Venom was a really very good album and highly acclaimed. And also read that Osfeld said that the bar was too high with that album. So was a bit challenging for you to keep on at least at the same level to deliver a good album as Cobra?
Cobra helped us a lot to create Royal Destroyer because we were in such a good mood, because as you said, the feedback was really great on the album, and a lot of people even saw it as a comeback album almost,
Yes.
Back to form and all of that. So I don't care what people say, but I am affected when I read reviews.
Yes,
I like to read reviews, and if there are positive reviews, I get inspired. Because I wouldn't feel that inspired if everybody would hate our songs. So it's just we got so good feedback, and we were in a good sort of headspace, and we just continued writing music. But it's always like when you're somewhere there close to the end of a new album, like album 8, song number 8 or 9, you start to see the whole picture, and then you start to sort of doubt yourself. Is this good enough, or what is missing on the album? A lot of thoughts all the time, but I think in the end we nailed it. It's in a sense sort of a sequel to Cobra Speed Venom, and a sequel should always be a bit extra of everything. So I think we nailed it.
Mm-hmm. Is there any reason why you selected the first single song to release? Why did you pick up that song?
I think in the end we decided for it because it shows a bit of that thrashier side from us.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of songs that we discussed what we should sort of present as a first song, but also when we, discussed with the label that said that we agreed that we would do multiple videos, then it became that okay, then we can sort of decide on different feels to different videos on, and but to start with a sort of energetic thrash song that has a bit of a vibe from Death Race days, almost, the thrashier side of it, and I think it's a pretty good guitar-oriented track to open with. But and the next single is going to be different.
Yeah, we drift on. Yes, totally. Any meaning behind the title, Royal Destroyer? It also like a switch with the band, the Crown, Royal Destroyer.
Yeah, exactly. It sort of suits. There's a lot of sort of fans started to call us like the Royal Five, years ago, and it was like it stuck with us, and the whole Crown, Royal, and all of that. So, and also being the 10th album, our 30th year, we wanted something a bit sort of bombastic title to it, and it has a nice ring to it, and also, as you said, it sort of links well together with the band name and what we're all about. So it almost works as like a war cry as well, being our fucking badass Royal Destroyer album. So it suits fine.
30 years of career, 10 albums. What an achievement, man.
That's how old I am. Yeah, it's what a ride, It's incredible. And I used to say that my only goal when we started with the band was to get a demo tape done because I wanted it to be reviewed in one of my favorite fan sites. That was my only goal I had with the band. And then it grew from there, demo 2, debut album, and all of a sudden it's the 10th album and 30 years later, so it's incredible. It's incredible. And what I'm maybe most proud of is that instead of that it's, our back catalog, the old stuff, that's the best one, then the band became crap. I mean, we're doing our best albums now, and that is fucking amazing. And so we're not a carbon copy of ourselves, so to say. So that's important. And Royal Destroyer became a strong album. It shows fresh styles or approaches to songs there as well. So it's it's amazing ride.
You were only 14, 15 years old when you started with Crown of Thorns?
Yeah,
30 years ago?
14 or 15, yeah.
Did you imagine to still be there 30 years after?
What is incredible is that my son is now 15 and he has started a band.
Tarkator.
Yeah, exactly. So starting it.
It's like refreshing your past.
Yeah, so that's actually pretty amazing to follow, Obviously my reality back in the 90s differs from how bands do today with everything. But it's an amazing thing. But we started out 14, 15 years old, and I think Magnus said in a press statement, album number 10, now we're in the big boys club. So not so many bands released 10 albums, so that's fucking amazing.
In the previous years, for the record for 15, you were drumming, you were working also in the different areas. So how does it feel now, being in just a position where you play the guitar, create, and be relieved of those things?
It is great. It's I produced 2 albums for the Crown, and I know that when we started discussing the Cobra Speed Venom, I said to the guys that I don't want to do it. I want to just be a fucking guitar playing and drink coffee and annoy people, And that's when we got in touch with Fredrik Nordström to be the producer, engineer, or whatever you want to call him. And I like it because it's a bit too much to handle. There's so many strings you need to always be pulling, and and I also found out that it was a bit lonely, because when I sort of did the producing thing, I sort of did it by myself, and I was like, where's the other guys? They were like at home, you know. So it was a bit lonely to do it, and also, you know, me doing the drums, and I played all the rhythm guitars on it. It's just too much. It's hard to have clear vision on the sort of the whole picture when you're too involved. So I prefer being just a songwriter and a guitarist in the crowd.
And what is the added value that a guy like Fredrik Nordström is providing or is giving to the band?
There's a lot of good stuff there. Obviously, we all know the classic albums he has produced, so he has a lot of experience.
Yeah.
And what I like with Fredrik is he doesn't have a fixed way of making albums. So I mean, he has done these sort of mega produced Dimmu Borgir stuff, you know, that are fantastic. But we knew that that's not the way we want to have our albums. So when we approached him, I mean, we worked with him obviously for Death Race King and Possessed 13. Then when we started talking about Cobra Sweet Venom, we had a little meeting and we chatted, and we said that we just want to go in and have a bit of a punk attitude and just nail the songs and don't overproduce, and we're not going to edit stuff. We're just going to go in and capture performances and, you know, 1 or 2 takes per song, and that's it. Then we move on to the next one. And he was so into it. He said that, yeah, that's a great approach, because all bands nowadays, everything needs to be super produced and edited and a certain way, you know, drum samples all the way. So we went in, it's real drums, you know, what you hear is what you will hear us play. That's how we play, you know. It's not 100%, and it's not supposed to be 100% because we're humans, we're not machines. Mm-hmm. So that's what adds a lot of energy and authenticity. What's it called? Yeah, to it. And I think that as a listener, you hear it, that there's something happening here. You know, it's something dynamic and organic, and it's a bit of a. It has a different sort of rawness, rough edge to it when you do it like that. But I think in the end, it creates more honest albums, because, yeah, I could easily, you know, do the album with these electronic drums and fucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's not a
way, you know, capturing performances. That's a bit of a lost art almost nowadays. So I like that.
So what does your son think about the new album?
Yeah, he likes it. It's pretty cool. Usually when he writes so much music to Sarkator as well. So it's very common that we play songs for each other. Like, oh, what do you think? No, that sucks. That's good. That's, you know. Actually, when Matteo helped me to sort of demo a couple of Crown songs, you know, helped me to sing, you know, some demo tracks, so I could send the guy, yeah, this is my idea for the song. So yeah, I think he think it's good. Nowadays, recently, he's been into more like, not a band in solitude.
It's more doom. Yeah,
he has sort of discovered them, and that's the only thing he listens to nowadays.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The kids, they're young, they go through phases.
Yeah.
6 months ago, it was all about Beneath the Remains with Sepultura, and now it's in solitude, and, you know.
We all did this process, right?
Of course.
We all did the process in the beginning. Yeah. So how honored and proud do you feel to have a kid to share the same passion as you? How cool.
Absolutely amazing. And what is fantastic is that for him, the whole music and playing, and it's just a genuine thing, because I usually say that from an outside view, someone would probably think that I've been there, play this, and this is how to do it. No, that's not how it works. If I would force him to do something, he would do the total opposite. So he's been deep diving into YouTube and learning a lot of stuff and discovering music, and be able to do the stuff together. I mean, if you've seen on the Facebook, we play together some songs, and even some Slayer cover songs and stuff like that. It's really amazing to be able to do it. And he's become such a geek when it comes to music. So we can sort of discuss all kinds of bands like Old Creator, and, you know, he has the fucking knowledge of all that stuff. So that's pretty fun, you know.
Yeah. but the feeling must be really, really.
Oh yeah,
amazing.
It's amazing. Absolutely, definitely.
At this moment, it's difficult to planify something for the future because of the COVID situation. But are you a fan of these streaming shows?
I think I have to become, because that's the only option nowadays. Actually, I bought my very first tickets to an online streaming thing. I wanted to see Paradise Lost play live, so it seems to work. Obviously, it's not fantastic, but I think it's really important now that you try to be a bit creative and come up with something that works, because the live situation, it's not going to happen in the close future, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so impossible to plan anything. We don't have a single show planned. So, but what we have decided is that we're going to spend February to do something in the streaming sense, you know. Maybe go in, I don't know, do a fucking 2-hour concert, or just nail the new album from start to end, or I don't know, something. We need to do something in February, and we just need to decide how do we do it. Do we on a stage, or are we gonna be, I don't know, on the moon and do it? I don't something that is a bit maybe interesting and visually nice. And the guy that we have worked with for quite a few videos, including the new one, Motordeath, Christopher, he will help us with the, you know, getting that pro finish to it. So yeah, let's see what happens. But obviously something needs to be done, because as I said, it's impossible to book shows. And I just read the other day that they started to look into canceling some festivals again, you know, so
exactly.
It's a fucked up situation, but we're all in it together. So
but something needs to be done. Otherwise, you lose the.
So what is the option? That bands don't do anything, or at least try to do something, you know? So keep the scene alive, and so. But yeah, I would kill for a very good original idea for the whole streaming thing, because it's very difficult to do. I've seen some bands do it, and it's maybe not that great. And what are you gonna do? You're gonna pump in a lot of money to do it, something exclusive. So there's a lot of things to decide on, sort of what approach to do it. Yeah.
Because in the end, all is also you need to spend money. If you
you need to spend money, and what we've done in the past, when we actually paid money to do some pro recordings, we give it out for free, just on YouTube, not full concerts, fucking HD recorded. That's our thing, because in a way we're in a lucky position that if you compare to a lot of those bands that are so dependent on the live shows, basically their income, it's been a disastrous year.
Yes.
For the Crown, ever since we sort of came back, we've had the Crown on the side, but always made sure that the normal stuff needs to work as well. Yeah. Having, the daily jobs, and families, and stuff like that. So, but I really feel bad for those bands that used to play 200 shows per year, make ends meet, and all of a sudden nothing. So, and because, that's a fucked up situation. But also for us, I mean, last year we celebrated 30 years, and we had some plans to do something fantastic, and everything got fucked up.
Do you remember your first metal show as a fan?
Yes, I might have seen some local weird stuff, but the big first show for me was must have been 91. Metallica played in Stockholm for the Black Album, and they had Suicidal Tendencies opening up for them as well. Rob doing the bass. So that was the first big show for me. I think it was 91.
And the first metal show was Crown of Thorns?
Actually, we even played with another name before we did, because there was a couple of years of confusion. We didn't know what to call the band. We only had like 2 own songs, and then we played cover songs from, whatever, D-Side, Edge of Sanity, Paradise Lost, all kinds of stuff, So we played a concert, our very first concert, we were called Descend. and that was like this youth center. There was not even a PA. There was a stage. We played, 30 friends in the audience, and that was it. And I believe maybe 91? No, 92 maybe we played. 93? We played first time under the name Crown of Thorns, and there was a lot of those local,
Yeah.
I don't know what the real word is. It's like this youth centers. We have that in Sweden, like this, where kids can go after school and hang out and play ping pong, and this.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
People take a bit care of the youth there. They, play football or whatever. So those type of buildings in Sweden are really, really important for the sort of how bands started to play. For they also offered free rehearsal places and free instruments, and a lot of those early shows were played on those type of places, So, but then it kind of grew from there.
And your favorite Swedish metal album?
Okay, today I have to say Left Hand Path with Entomb. It's when a certain album hits you in a certain age, it creates an impact.
Indeed.
So that's one of those I will never forget. I think I heard Left Hand Path and Lost Paradise by Paradise Lost on the same day, those two albums, and they still mean a lot to me. So.
Okay. And your favorite non-Swedish metal album?
I have to pick something from Paradise Lost. It's one of my most important bands ever, and probably I always tend to go back to Draconian Times. I say that too many times in interviews. I'm like a broken record, but Draconian Times by Paradise Lost is so huge for me. It's just perfect.
That takes me to ask you, so Angel Blake, what did it mean for you?
It was great. It was my outlet when we quit the band. Some people think we went on a break, but we actually quit the band. So, but just because you quit a band doesn't mean that you stop writing music. So that was what happened. We quit the band, and after a few months, wow, I had 3 new songs, and it just grew from there. And I really wanted to take that into that more. It's wrong to say Paradise Lost, but this more normal mid-tempo melancholic approach, because I never wanted it to sort of be even close with the sort of death metal thing we did with the Crown, because I always think that our best death metal is when we do it together, and so the both Angel Blake albums were pretty cool to do. It was such a big fucking megalomaniac moment. I played everything, I wrote everything. I mean, it became really time-consuming projects, and it was great. I like him. It's cool albums.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned Paradise Lost, I remember Angel Blake. So that's the question. Yes, that's sort of a bit Paradise Lost, a bit of Sentenced, a bit of that mid-tempo thing. But that kind of music. Yeah. If you have to say to somebody that wants to learn about Swedish metal bands, which are the 3 Swedish metal bands you would mention?
Whoa, that's difficult, because I've been following Swedish bands for like 20 years, so over 20 years. So there's a lot of good stuff happening. Holy shit. I think, some of the classics needs to be there, obviously, like Left Hand Path again. It's good to understand the sort of the impact it had worldwide, both production-wise and that special guitar sound and all of that. It's really cool, and of course, At the Gates deserves a lot of attention there as well. And I actually think that the EP there, the Eternal Spirit Disease, that's my absolute favorite with At the Gates. It's it has a good blend of the the chaos stuff they had on Red in the Sky's Hours and the more straightforward stuff that they then did with Slaughter the Soul. It's a good middle ground there. So those two will be perfect. And then, of course, Sarkator's debut album.
Of course. Of course. Have
So
you
you
ever
understand where the youth is going, you know.
yeah. Are they going to sign to Metal Blade as well?
You never know. Actually, the feedback they're getting is really fucking good. So this was actually pretty funny. There's this pretty big Swedish thing called P3 Gold Awards. It's basically like Grammys.
Mm-hmm.
And Sarkator was nominated as the best metal album.
Really? That's very good.
And like 3 months after they released it. So when they notified the band that they were nominated, because this is a TV broadcasted gala and it's a big thing, you know. I thought it was a joke. So, I mean, I don't know, someone is pranking you, it's not possible. But then they called me up and said, yeah, they're nominated for the best 2020 metal albums. Like, wow.
Wow. Wow. It means a lot.
Fucking kids, you know.
The kids grow, yeah? Yeah.
Yeah. That's a pretty good start for them. So let's see.
The last one. Have you ever thought or had in mind touring through South America or Latin America?
Many times. We have discussed it many times. We just need to do it with the right people, and everything just needs to work.
Yeah.
Because when we do that kind of stuff, it needs to be professional. There needs to be work permits, and all of that needs to happen. So we have discussed it many times that is an area we would like to do before it's too late. So and hopefully maybe the first time we could do it maybe would be through a festival or something like that. Some very brutal festivals happening there, and because I think it would be a bit too difficult if we would go in first time to South or Latin America and like headline and try to make it work. It'd be better if we open up for a band or something like that and make a package out of it or something like that. But in the end, it needs to be professional, it needs to work, it needs to be people that we can trust and rely on, and it needs to be legit. So if you can make that work, we're coming.
Okay. Take Uruguay into account if that happens.
Yeah.
Okay. Marko, thank you very much for the time. Again, congratulations for Royal Destroyer.
Thanks, man.
Wish you the best, and hopefully someday in South America and in Uruguay. Who knows?
All right. Thanks, man.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.